Good afternoon, everyone. This is Henry Gambell with simplertrading.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to bring you a setup that I am watching here in the iShares Home Construction ETF. This is the ETF that we used earlier in the year for a trade that lasted maybe about 3.5 months. And there are some of the longer duration trades that I really enjoy because it allows you to capture a trend. And I believe that we have these signals on hand again. So we can begin by showing you the signal that got me into this idea initially, back here off of the weekly chart, where we begin, as always, with a squeeze, or something that shows us a moment in time where prices have become compressed to a degree that they're probably not going to trade that tight forever, right? There's kind of a movement, then an acceptance of price, and then the next movement in whichever direction. In this case, the squeeze signal ended up resolving to the upside and printed a new lifetime high for the ETF into 78.61. Okay, if you can see that signal from the past, then you can see why I might have interest in the one that has now started to develop fresh. So I take this weekly squeeze and combine it with the signal that we're getting here on the daily. This is just showing you kind of a nested feature of this compression and expansion of volatility. So the weekly is getting compressed, the daily is getting compressed, and when these signals resolve, we're going to be looking for some, I think, very significant targets. Now I'm going to do a little bit more work with you on this one chart because then you can apply it to the other ETFs that I'm going to show you. But look at how we made this bit of a kind of exaggerated capitulation high up into 78.61, and if you run the retracement of that move, swing high to swing low, we're sitting here consolidating at the 618 retracement in this particular ETF. I know when you view these videos, there's a fine line between wanting to go out tomorrow and to put the ideas to work versus really working to time it to capture the biggest part of the trade. I do not think this is something that you begin to pile into tomorrow necessarily. I want you to really have this kind of tucked away and kept in the back of your mind as we get into the end of the year. In the description for this video, I had kind of mentioned, timing is everything. So as good as these explosive signals should be, if we stay inside this kind of retracement area, keep this seasonality in mind, right? You can see that over the course of the past 5 years, ITB has been down 40% of the time in September and then down 60% of the time in October. So it's hard to say exactly how those monthly and of course the weekly candles will form. You could see a lot of noise, a lot of consolidation, kind of like I've drawn in here on the weekly chart. But then what we really want to be paying attention to is when November rolls around. Because for the past 5 years, November has been up every single time for this particular ETF, and the average gain has been for 5%. So this is a place that I think we work on building into these if you would like to have them on your watch list so that day that we do get some type of a panic flush and maybe in these months ahead we finally see the pullback in equities that everyone has been calling for. If you get that, I would really enjoy picking up ITB somewhere around 70. So this is the one ETF that I thought I'd give you the most analysis on. You can do the same thing with XHB. Right? This is a very similar situation where we have poor seasonality for the 2 months ahead, and then in November, really excellent results. You'll notice the weekly and daily squeezes. And then the third is nail. So, spread your risk as you see fit. The allocations and components of these will differ, but they all share that very similar pattern where we had a extended and kind of exaggerated high. We've retraced and are at that point of consolidation, and I think preparing to, build positions and run this higher into the end of the year. So I hope that's helpful and kind of helps you form your trading plan into the end of the year. We will see you at the next free video.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me